Getting ready to set our brackets. We've snapped lines, squared our building up. We've set our bracket 9 foot on center and we've marked it. We're going to do our side walls first and then we'll do the end walls. So here we go, framing day one. I was super stoked to get started on the building, and we had to begin by getting the building layout set on the slab. The slab was not perfect, so we had to make some adjustments. So we spent probably the good part of a half of a day trying to get everything located bracket-wise and building-wise where we wanted it on the slab. So we had the proper overhang, and the building was in a good location to make the rest of the build go smoother. I think it's a very critical point to get started off on the right foot, because the closer you can make things now, again, it just helps you later on and you don't have to make adjustments. So what I'm doing here is splitting our one of our post brackets. So these are from Midwest Permacolumn. You can buy, this is a standard 3-ply 2x6 bracket. You can buy corner brackets that only has one ear on it, but instead I wanted the hardware pack to go with it, so I bought a standard bracket with the hardware pack included, and then I just split it, which worked out really well. So you have to do this in your corners, and you'd have to do it like if you had a door up against a post, you would want to split your bracket, because you can't have that bracket ear hanging out past the building. And for the corners, your bottom girt board needs to wrap around the corner, so you need to have some wood to nail into. So we cut an ear off basically and used a half bracket. Then you just suck that bolt tight and you can get your bottom girt board on no problem. So this took us all day just to get this set, but it was, I think, well worth it in the long run. The next step is setting the brackets. We placed our brackets with the small 4 Tapcon screws on the bottom plate there that you see. I used the same drill bit and drilled 4 holes, and we used those Tapcons to kind of hold the bracket in place while I drilled the holes for the 5/8 inch screw anchors. This is just the pilot holes that I'm drilling now to help guide that bigger bit down into the concrete. There's not a lot of room for air side to side with these holes, so I wanted to start it with a small pilot hole and then use the bigger bit. The drill, if you have not used a rotary hammer drill, I highly recommend using those for any kind of concrete work. This is my first time using it. That's the Bosch Bulldog, I think it's the 8 amp rotary SDS rotary hammer drill, and I'm telling you, and it just, as you can see, it's just goes through that concrete like butter. You don't even have to put much pressure on it. The hammering action does all the work, but it does create a lot of dust. So one of the things you have to think about is over drilling your holes so your anchors are sure to fit. The small ones are easy to break off. The small Tapcons are easy to break off if you don't drill your holes, if you don't over drill them. That dust has to have a place to go. What we ended up running into, this is, I think, my 3rd bracket that I installed, and that first bracket was a little bit of a learning curve. The bit that I'm using is only a 6-inch bit, and the screw anchors are 6-inch screw anchors. So what we had to do is actually remove the brackets to give ourselves an extra 1/4 inch. That bottom plate on that bracket is a 1/4 inch thick, so that gives gives me a 1/4 inch deeper than what the screw is. When you look at the anchors, they have almost like a sawtooth edge on the first couple of serrations. They're like serrated teeth on the end of those anchors that helps cut that concrete as it screws into it, so that dust falls at the bottom of the hole, and if you don't over drill, that bit or that anchor will bottom out and you won't be able to get it tight. The smaller ones will snap off. The bigger ones you're not going to snap off. You just won't be able to get them all the way down. So that first bracket we did, we kind of learned from it, and we used some compressed air and a bolt to kind of check our depth as we did the rest of them. So you just have to clean those holes out. We use compressed air. A vacuum would probably work. And then I just kind of run that bit down there to loosen up the dirt or the dust that's down there and pull some of it out with the bit. So after we did that, they all went in super easy, and we didn't have any further issues. And there you go. That it dropped all the way down. That bolt's the same length as the screw anchors, so it worked very well for a check for us. But I was a little skeptical at first with the dry drill set brackets. I wanted to do wet set, but just with the timing and the concrete, and just wasn't able to do it. But after putting those anchors in, man, those things are rock solid, and that bracket is not going anywhere. And I think if we get into a situation where we have some severe weather, I think the wood post is probably going to give way first before those brackets are going to come out of that concrete. That is a really solid connection, and I'm not worried about it anymore. So very happy with the way this turned out, and this is just a rinse and repeat. So we went around all the way around the building and set the brackets, with the exception of the middle bracket on the front wall where the garage doors will be, just due to the fact that we're accessing that with my tractor for the build, and we didn't want to hit that and ruin it. So we just left that one go for now. So we have one bracket left, and we'll probably set that after we get all of the trusses set, because just because of the equipment going in and out of the building for convenience. So full day setting all the brackets and building layout, but I was happy. So one day, two guys, well on our way to getting some sticks up, and again, just very happy. The brackets are from Midwest Permacolumn, and the hardware pack came with the bracket set. So far, very, very happy. Here we are, just kind of making sure we're on our line, so our posts are directly in line with where we need to be. Later on in the next video, I'll show you how we check them vertically, because the concrete's not perfectly level, so we had to make some adjustments there as well. And you can see those things are solid. I'm putting a lot of force in there, and it is not moving. So if you really wanted to get technical, you could probably use a torque wrench. Didn't have mine, but again, I feel real confident, and you should feel comfortable if you use these.
3 brackets, 1 wall.